All right, this video is designed to be an interactive video in this sense. Here on the left, you have an equation, 4c plus 7 equals 3. I encourage you now to hit pause, not right now, after I'm done. Hit pause and write the construction story for 4c plus 7 equals 3. Go. Okay, I'm assuming you've unpaused now and you want to check your work. 4c plus 7 equals 3. Construction-wise, it would sound like this. Start with the variable c. Now, what happens to this variable c? First, c is multiplied by 4. After we multiply c by 4, that product is added by 7, 4c plus 7. And then the result is 3. So check your work. See if you agree with me. Now, you don't have to write it exactly the way I wrote it, but you have to get the idea of multiply by 4, add by 7, result is 3. Okay, given the construction story, now write the deconstruct story. Again, hit pause and write your deconstruct story and then come back and see if we agree. Hit pause. All right, given that you've written a deconstruct story, check to see if it matches mine. So the deconstruct story says this but reverses the process, so we can go back to start with c, because the point in solving an equation in algebra is to determine the value of that variable that makes the equation true. So before, we had a result of 3, so I'm going to start with 3 and we'll work my way back up. So before we added by 7 to something. So now we're going to subtract 7. Before, we multiplied by 4. So now we're going to divide by 4. Before, we started with c. Now we're going to end with c. So a quick story. Hopefully that's it, that you have the same thing. So now, you got the deconstruct story as a structure by which you can now solve the equation. So hit pause, solve the equation, and then come back and see if your solution is the same as mine. Go ahead and hit pause. All right, I'm going to change colors here so we can see the solution process here. Now the solution process should mirror your deconstruct story. It's just that we're going to tell that deconstruct story with more mathematical symbolism. So this thing started with 4c plus 7 was equal to 3. So we started with 3. Now remember, start with 3 meaning all that construction process resulted in 3. So I'm starting there. I know I'm going to deconstruct to see what happens. So first we're going to subtract 7. I'm going to start with 3, subtract 7. Now again, if you need calculators to help you with computations, please feel free, but think about 3 subtract 7. So 3 subtract 3 gets you to 0. Subtract 4 more for a total of 7 would take you to negative 4. So 3 subtract 7 is negative 4. Now when we subtract 7 here, you'll be left with just 4c. Now the idea is this. There's some quantity here that when you add 7, you get 3. What quantity does that 4c need to be? I'm claiming, because of my deconstruct story, I'm claiming here that 4c must be the same as negative 4, because negative 4 plus 7 is 3. Check it if you need to. Negative 4 plus 7 is indeed 3. So that's what I want you to see in terms of the structure and the logic that's going on here, is we're just making logical claims of truth based on our story. So subtract 3 now, divide by 4. So when you divide by 4, negative 4 divided by 4. Negative 4 divided by 4 is going to give you negative 1. Divide by 4c. So again, look, 4 times something. Let me color code this so you can see it. 4 times something is negative 4. I'm trying to figure out what that something is. And I can just think about 4 times negative 1. Look, I'm claiming that C is negative 1. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. So C is negative 1. Now let's do a quick check and see. We'll do this check in red. I've now claimed that C is equal to negative 1. Let's check. If it was true, then 4 times C, negative 1, plus 7 is supposed to be 3. Let's check. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4 plus 7. Negative 4 plus 7, check it if you have to, definitely is 3. So this solution does indeed check. So hope you're tracking, making any corrections if you need to. If you made mistakes, fix them, learn from them. But let's try one more. Over here, a little bit messier equation, but will you please pause the video and first write your construction story. Pause now. All right, construction-wise, start with y. First thing we do to y is we subtract 4. After we subtract 4, we divide by 3. After we divide by 3, we add 2. I don't know, I just switched from writing words with letters to symbols and then back to words. It's alright though. Add 2. Then to that whole thing we multiply by negative 2. And then to all of that we're finally going to subtract 4. So there's the construction story, and after doing all of that construction, subtract 4, divide by 3, add 2, multiply by negative 2, and subtract 4, the result is 8. So again, check your work there on that construction story, make any mistakes, and make any corrections to any mistakes, and learn from them, please. Okay, pause the video, and now write your deconstruct story. Pause now, please. All right, deconstruction. So we're going to reverse the process. So where we resulted in 8, we're now going to start with 8. What are we going to do to 8? Instead of subtract 4, we're going to add 4. Instead of multiply by negative 2, we're going to divide by negative 2. Instead of adding 2, we're going to subtract 2. Instead of divide by 3, we're going to multiply by 3. Instead of subtract 4, we're going to add 4. And instead of starting with y, we're going to, what did I say before? End with. Let's say with that. End with y. So again, please check your deconstruction story and see if we agree. Make any corrections to your thinking. But then we're going to follow our deconstruction story and we're going to solve this equation. And if we follow the story and do what it says, we should end with y. That is, we should know what quantity y is this holding the place of, so that when you do all of this work, it does indeed result in 8. So pause the video, try solving, come back and see how you did. Pause now. All right, I need a little more space on this one, so let me do it over here. So start with 8. Now when I say start with 8, what I mean is all of that construction stuff, negative 2 times the quantity, y minus 4, all got divided by 3. All of that, it was added by 2, then we subtracted 4, all of that resulted in 8. So we start with the whole thing. We start with all of our construction starts with 8. First thing we do, add 4. So when you add 4 to 8, you'll get 12. And when you add 4 to this side, you'll be left with this. Now again, from a logic / structure point of view, look, all of this stuff right here gets subtracted by 4 to result in 8. So all of that stuff right there must be 12, because 12 minus 4 is 8. So all we're saying is all this stuff right here has to be 12 because 12 minus 4 is 8. So we just say that. We just make that claim. Hey, look, all this stuff has to be 12 in order for this to be true. Next, divide by negative 2. So if we divide by negative 2, 12 divided by negative 2, negative 6. Please check that on a calculator if need be, but positive divided by a negative is a negative. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6. Now when we divide by negative 2, what will be left here is this. Okay, again, from a structure logic perspective, here's what we're saying. Negative 2 multiplied by all this stuff is 12. Well, negative 2 times negative 6 is 12. A negative times a negative is a positive. So negative 2 times negative 6 is 12. So all of this stuff, there it is, all of that stuff has to be negative 6. What we're saying is negative 2 times negative 6 is 12. Subtract 2. Negative 6, subtract 2 more, will take you to negative 8. So again, from a structure perspective, what we're saying now is all of that stuff plus 2 is negative 6. So all of that stuff must be negative 8 because negative 8 add 2 takes you to negative 6. Multiply by 3. Negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. Check your calculator on that, but a negative times a positive is a negative. So negative 8 times 3 is negative 4. Structurally speaking, look what we're saying. Something up here divided by 3 is negative 8. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So negative 24 divided by 3, negative divided by positive is a negative. Negative 24 divided by 3 is negative 8. So I'm just saying what I'm thinking about. That thing must be negative 24, therefore. Last step, add 4. Negative 24 plus 4, and increase by 4 would take you to negative 20. Why? Negative 20. So there we are. We ended with y equals negative 20. Now, if you want to check it, please do. But the check should sound something like this. I'm not going to write it all down, but y is negative 20. Negative 20, subtract 4. Negative 24. Divide by 3. Negative 8. Plus 2. Negative 6. Times negative 2. Positive 12. Minus 4. 8. So it certainly does check. And I think if you just follow that construction story, you should be good. Again, check your work, make any corrections, rethink your thinking, correct mistakes, learn from mistakes. Hopefully that helps. Thanks.